I was first going to make this video for you to illustrate the fact that the mainstream media are just utterly hopeless when it comes to, well, electric cars and the entire car market, full stop. And then I realized a funny thing. Even though all of the numbers in this visual capitalist data are, well, seemingly bogus, it actually makes a bit of sense. And I'll show you why in just a second. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Fantastic to have you here on the channel today. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. It's great to see so many new people coming on board. Welcome to all the new people and welcome to everyone else. Now, if you haven't already, I would be stoked if you could jump on Patreon and join the channel, support the channel. Now, there's about 70 of you who have done so. I really appreciate your support. I'll put a link in the description below to how you can contribute to the channel. In addition to that, if you want, you can become a member. It means you get access to many of our videos 24 to 48 hours in advance. Now, visualcapitalist.com recently shared some, well, impressive looking graphics. They've obviously spent a long time on Canva or Photoshop or whatever they use these days to create this impressive looking article, which has lots of old information, even though it was only published 2 days ago. Very weird. But anyway, the article is titled Visualizing the Race for EV Dominance. And that is why I think you might find this interesting. Now, the visual graphic here shows Tesla and what their current electric car market share is worldwide. And then it shows you the company's 2020 sales, which is the blue part or the red part for Tesla, and the company's 2025 projected sales, which is the shaded part. Now, obviously, this graph says that in 2020, Tesla had 23% of the worldwide electric car market share. And they are predicting that by 2025, Tesla will have 21% of global electric car market share. That's a pretty big number. Now, unfortunately, the data they've used is it's a little bit bogus because it comes from 2020. And obviously, things have dramatically changed in 2021. For example, BYD only sold 136,000 pure electric cars in 2020. But in 2021, well, for example, they sold 42,000 pure electric cars just last month and 40,000 plug-in electric cars in the same month, equating for a total of 82,500 in that month alone. In other words, BYD have almost completely transitioned to a purely electric car manufacturer within the space of 12 months. So, as you can see, things change very, very quickly. But ultimately, you can see that right now, electric car companies, well, most of them are eating Tesla's dust. Those outside of China, that. Now, Tesla has reigned supreme among electric car companies ever since it first released the Roadster back in 2008. The California-based company, headed by Elon Musk, ended 2020 with 23% of the EV market worldwide and recently became the first automaker to hit a $1 trillion market capitalization. However, competitors like Volkswagen hope to accelerate their own EV efforts to unseat Musk's company as the dominant manufacturer. For example, General Motors claims that they will overtake Tesla by 2025. I made a video about that, and those spurious claims, which are, well, you should check out the video to see what I think of those claims made by General Motors. This graph is based on data from EV volumes, and it compares Tesla and other top car makers' positions in 2020 from an all-electric perspective and gives market share projections for 2025. Now, the auto majors are playing catch-up big time. And honestly, they will be forever or until they go bankrupt. According to Wood Mackenzie, Volkswagen will become the largest manufacturer of EVs before 2030. Wood Mackenzie, in my view, have zero credibility after making that statement. But anyway, in order to achieve this, the world's second biggest car maker is in talks with suppliers to secure direct access to the raw materials for its batteries. Now, the interesting thing is, I think if you actually asked Herbert Diess, the CEO of Volkswagen, who's a very honest man, if he believed that Wood Mackenzie was correct, he would tell you, no, that's incorrect. But anyway, Volkswagen also plans to build 6 battery factories in Europe by 2030 and to invest globally in charging stations. However, it did claim recently that it wasn't willing to commit to being 100% electric by 2040, which is slightly alarming in my view. Still, according to EV volumes projections, by 2025, the German company is forecast to have only 12% of the market versus Tesla's 21%. So in other words, Tesla will be selling, well, at least twice as many EVs as Volkswagen in 2025, but somehow between 2025 and 2030, Volkswagen will catch up and overtake Tesla. Now, this is in spite of the fact that Volkswagen themselves have said that they are extremely inefficient with manufacturing EVs in comparison to Tesla. They said that it takes them 31 hours to build an electric car, and it takes Tesla 10. They also admitted that their batteries cost about 30% more at a pack level than Tesla's. So right now, they are most certainly playing catch up. And whether you like Tesla or Volkswagen, or whether you don't like either company, it doesn't make any difference. I'm just giving you the facts. So you can see other auto giants are following the same track towards, well, very slowly towards EV adoption. GM, the largest US automaker, wants to stop selling fuel-burning cars by 2035, which is fantastic. The company is making a big push into pure electric vehicles with more than 30 new models expected by 2025. Meanwhile, Ford expects 40% of its vehicles sold to be electric by the year 2030. If that plays out, Ford will go bankrupt by, I would say, no later than 2032. It's impossible to exist after that period of time and only sell a very, very small number in terms of percentage of electric cars. Now, I made a video about that, about Ford's potential looming bankruptcy. I'll put a link in the description to that video. It has been seen by a lot of people. Now, Ford has laid out plans to invest tens of billions of dollars in electric and autonomous vehicle efforts in the coming years, which is a smart move. Recently, obviously, they've announced they're building a huge, sprawling complex of different factories and different... It's all slightly confusing to me, but there's a huge... It's like a university campus where they're building lots of factories, and that's a really good start. Now, Tesla's brand is their secret weapon, according to Visual Capitalist. When it comes to electric car company brand awareness in the marketplace, Tesla still surpasses all others by some margin, in fact. More than 1/4 of shoppers who are considering an EV said Tesla is their number one choice. They've done a wonderful job of presenting themselves as the innovative leader of electric vehicles, and therefore this is translating high awareness among consumers, said Rochelle Pechuski, research at Cox Automotive Mobility Group. Now, it's not just that. I published another article, another video recently, a couple of days ago, showing that surveys in America, different publications have shown that customer satisfaction is by far the highest from buyers buying Teslas. In fact, Tesla ranked in 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 10th places for all car manufacturers and all models all across America. And they only have 4 models. In other words, they were the only car company to have more than 1 model in the top 10, and they actually had 4 in the top 10. So customer satisfaction is one of the key drivers of sales of Tesla vehicles. Now, Tesla recently surpassed Audi and Mercedes as the 3rd largest luxury car brand in the United States in 2020. In 2021, it is now just behind BMW and Lexus. Not far behind them, by the way. It will overtake them very, very soon. Now, the dominance of electric car companies by 2040. Well, I would change that to 2030, Visual Capitalist, but anyhow, Bloomberg NEF expects annual passenger EV sales to reach 13 million in 2025, 28 million in 2030, and 48 million by 2040, outselling gasoline and diesel models, which will sell 42 million in total. As the EV market continues to grow rapidly, globally, competitors hope to take a run at Tesla's lead or at least stay in the race. Now, obviously, as you can see by this graph, it's a little bit dated, but it is interesting because it shows you where currently a lot of the legacy automakers are at. You can see here that Ford is at, well, very, very low number of EVs. Well, no EVs produced in 2020, and the expected market position will be 2% of the market in 2025. That's based on the information that they have released on their future plans. So 2% of worldwide market by 2025. Toyota currently have 0.5%. Only a few cars sold in China, electric cars that are pretty much unknown outside of China. Now, it's saying that Toyota will have 3% of the electric car market in 2025. Stellantis will have 7%. They now have 4%. Kia will have 6%. They now have 7%. Well, this is 2020, by the way. I should clarify that. Geely have 2%. They will have 3% in 2025. The Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance has 9% now, but will have 5% in 2025. Daimler have 2% now, but will have 4% in 2025. BMW have 2% now, but will have 3% in 2025. SGMW, who make the world's, China's most popular electric car and the second highest selling electric car in the world, the Wuling Hongwan Mini EV. Don't know what that is? I'll put a link in the description below. I've made lots of videos about that vehicle. It's very interesting because it's one of the cheapest cars you can buy. You can get a pretty decent EV in China for $5,000 US. SGMW is actually a joint venture or a tri-venture between state automaker SAIC and Wuling and General Motors. So they have 10% of the worldwide market in 2020, and they're predicted to have 8% of the worldwide market in 2025. And that's in spite of the fact that their market share has increased this year to being over 10% of the market, and their sales are going crazy. Anyway, then you've got BYD, who had 6% of the market in 2020. They now have 10% this year, but somehow Visual Capitalist predicts they'll drop to 3% by 2025. Now, before I move on to Volkswagen, this is the kind of thing that mainstream media will tell you, right? BYD sold 138,000 purely electric vehicles in 2020. Now, according to Visual Capitalist and according to a number of different publications that contributed to this content, BYD will only sell 377,000 electric vehicles in 2025. Now, obviously, they'll far exceed that number next year. And they plan on selling 3.5 million electric and plug-in electric vehicles in 2025. But somehow, Visual Capitalist and a number of other media sources, including Bloomberg, believe that only 10% of those vehicles will be electric cars, even though right now, 50% of their sales are electric cars. So you can see here, American media in particular have a little bit of a disdain for Chinese automakers and would like to ignore reality, to suspend belief. That's exactly what they're doing. Now they're claiming that even though SGMW and BYD have increased market share globally for electric cars this year significantly, somehow they will collapse over the next few years, and their plans to continue to make more electric cars in the world's number one electric car market, which is China, where, by the way, 18% of all cars sold last month were fully electric. Somehow, their sales will begin to slump. Don't ask me how, but that's what they claim. Now, next is Volkswagen. Now, Volkswagen had 11% of the market last year, and the claim is that by 2025, they will have 12% of the market. I can see that happening. That seems like a very realistic number. Then you've got Tesla, 23% of the market in 2020, and the claim is that they will have 21% of the market in 2025. Is that possible? Yes. Is it likely? I would say probably not. Probably I own shares in Tesla, so I think here I'm not being biased against them, but I think more like 15% is probably a realistic number. However, all of this doesn't take into account what is really going on now. And as viewers of the channel, regular viewers of the channel know, China is poised to take over at least 50% of this market, at least. Why? Well, there is hundreds of electric car manufacturers in China right now. And guess what they are doing right now? They're making electric cars that are extremely compelling at prices that no one outside of China can match. And even Volkswagen's CEO, Herbert Diess, has said that himself. He said they're coming, and it's scary, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, for those of you watching the channel, and who might be new to this channel, check out some of my videos about these other car companies. Of course, you've got BYD, Wuling, Aura, Xpeng, NIO, Li Auto, Leap Motor, Chang'an, GAC, Chery, Polestar, Volvo, Zeekr, Weltmeister, and Hoson Nida. And there's many others, but I'll stop you there, otherwise you'll get bored. Now, let's not forget, there's also Rivian and Lucid, and they're going to do big things in America as well, and potentially go global as well. So the electric car market is changing the world. It's changing the auto market. And honestly, the reality is legacy auto are screwed. Thanks for watching the channel. Look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye-bye.